All right, so in my Facebook account, so I'm going to go through the Facebook stuff first, and then we'll dive into command. So first off, if you haven't created your Facebook business page yet, that is something you'll need to do in order to run Facebook ads through command. You have to run them from a Facebook business page. So I'm not going to go through how to create one, but I will send out a video afterwards if you haven't created it yet that will walk you through that process. But we're going to assume that you already have that page created. I'm just going to go through the settings that should be there. So first off, you want to make sure that you're logged into the correct Facebook account. If for whatever reason you have more than one Facebook profile, just make sure you're logged into the one that you will connect to command. So I only have my one Facebook account here. And then you're going to create your business page or go to your business page if you have already created one. So from here, you're going to click on the flag up here, which will bring you to your pages. So I made a test page for this one, so I'm going to choose this page. So obviously this is not a very set up page, so that's something you'll want to make sure that you've done before you start running ads, because when those ads show up in people's news feeds, it's going to come from your business page. So if you don't have a profile picture or you don't have any information on your page, that's something you'll want to make sure that you go in and complete before you start running ads, so that when people start to see your ads, they're directed to somewhere that has all of the information that they need to contact you or learn more about you. So down here, you'll see there is this set up your page for success. So if it is a new page, it'll walk you through the different things you should be doing in order to completely set up your page, like adding a profile picture or a cover photo, things like that. So just something to keep in mind there. But we're going to go to the settings of this page first. So I'm going to scroll on this side down to the bottom and go to settings. And then you want to go to page roles right here. Okay, so you want to make sure that your name shows up here as an admin on your page. That's super important because you do need to be an admin on your page in order to publish ads. So in general, when you create a business page, you're by default added as the admin. But if it's a page you created a while ago, sometimes some things get messed up as Facebook updates. So just make sure that you're seeing yourself here as an admin. And if you don't, you can assign a new role. So you can add yourself as an admin up here if you're not seeing your name down here. Okay. The other thing in Facebook that you have to do is set up a Facebook Business Manager account. So this is separate from your page, but your page will connect to it. So all you have to do is if you go to a new tab and go to, I believe it's business.facebook.com. If you're logged into your Facebook account, it will bring you right into your own business account. So that's how you get to that. If you get to an introduction page where it says sign up, you'll have to create a new business account for that, but it will connect to your personal account. So I just went to business.facebook.com here and it brought me right into my business account. So up here, if you have more than one, you can go in between them, but I'm going to stick in this one here. So the first thing with your business account is you want to make sure that you're the admin on this business account as well. So this happens by default, but it is something just to watch out for just in case of any changes. So you should see your name here as an admin. If you want additional people to have admin access, like for example, Brishan, maybe you and Cheryl share a page and you both want to be able to post stuff, you can add additional admins. So you would add another person here. And then you're both able to do things on that page. So just for the purpose of ads, at least, you have to make sure that the Facebook account you're going to connect to command is listed as an admin on this business account. You also want to go down to pages here and make sure that your page is connected to this business account. So here's my test page. I already connected that. If you have not connected your page to a business account, and there's nothing connected to this business account, it will just have a big button right here in the middle telling you to add it. If you have more than one page, you can also add additional pages up here. And then within these settings, you'll want to click on your name here under people and just make sure that all of these are toggled on. So I have manage page on, which by default will allow me to do all of these things. But you just want to make sure at least that publish content and create ads are turned on so that you have the permissions to publish those ads. So these are things that do end up creating errors in command when you run an ad if you haven't gone in and made sure that you have the proper permissions to post ads on your Facebook page. Okay. The other thing that you need to do as well is there is some terms of service for ads that you have to accept for your page. So I'll send you the link to this after the training, but it's basically just facebook.com/ads/leadgen/TOS. Like I said, I will send that out. And it will bring you to this page with the terms and conditions for posting ads. So these are the rules you have to abide by when you're posting ads on Facebook. So it makes you accept them before you're able to start posting ads. So you can see here I have an X beside my page name. So that means I haven't accepted these terms yet. So if I went to post an ad right now, it's probably going to fail. So just make sure to come in here and click accept. And then that's done. Okay. Any questions about the page and business settings so far? No? Okay. There's one more security thing that you do need to do on your Facebook account, and this is, I think, newer in terms of the security features that go into command, but you do need to set up two-factor authentication on your Facebook account. Now what that is when you log in, you can set up so you get an email or a text message with a code, and you have to enter that code in order to log into your account. So it's just an added security feature. So if someone had your password, they can't get in because they don't also have your phone number to receive that text message with that code. So these are things you'll want to do anyways, just for security purposes. There's been many instances where someone's Facebook gets hacked, and when you have so many accounts connected to your Facebook, for example, Instagram, if your Facebook is compromised, all of those other accounts are compromised as well. So you'll lose a lot of that content. So it is super important to make sure, especially as a realtor, when you have your Facebook page and you're following, that you're protecting that, because that is potential business, right? You don't want to lose what you've built there. So to set that up, you're just going to go to, actually, I'm just going to go up here, go back to my profile here, go to this little down arrow, and then settings and privacy, settings, and then security and login. When you scroll down, we have two-factor authentication here. I have it turned on, so anytime I log into my Facebook account, it sends me a text message with a code that I have to put in. Now, if you don't like that option, there are some other things you can do for two-factor authentication. I have a text message. You can set up things called recovery codes. So these are just basically numbered codes that you would keep somewhere that you won't lose them. And if you can't use the text message, you can put in that recovery code and it will let you into your account. So it's basically just a secondary password. It's a jumble of numbers that you'd have to write down and keep somewhere safe. The other option is an authentication app. So things like Google Authenticator. It's an app you can download on your phone, and it will connect to this. So basically you open the app on your phone. When you go to log in, there will be a little code you scan, and it will give you a code to type in to get into your account. So there's a few different options. Text message is definitely the most convenient, especially if you're not planning on changing your phone number anytime in the future. This is the simplest way to secure your account. So definitely recommend doing that. And there have been instances where ads don't work if you don't have this security feature turned on. So that is something you'll want to do as well. All right, so that's it for the Facebook settings. Those are the main things you have to make sure that are set up. So we're going to go into command now. So I have my command dashboard here. So from command, you do have to connect your Facebook account into your command settings. So I'm going to click on my name up here and go to settings. Now I already have Facebook connected in both of these places. So there is two separate spots to connect Facebook. For the purpose of ads, you want to make sure you've connected it under Facebook Ads Manager. That is what will allow you to post those ads. You can also schedule just normal posts to your Facebook page. So if it's just normal content you're putting out, you're not paying for it to go to people who don't already follow you. It's just for your own following in your Facebook page. you can schedule those posts ahead of time. So that's what this one is for, and you can connect it there if you want to. But I'm going to go to manage beside my Facebook ads manager. And because I created a new Facebook business page, which is this test page here, I want to make sure that it's checked off so that Command knows they have the permissions to post those ads onto that page. So I have a whole bunch of different pages, as you can see, but I'm just going to check this one off here. And click done. If you've never connected Facebook to Command before, you'll just see connect account here. It'll prompt you to log into your Facebook account, and then it'll bring you back here to select which pages. So the only extra step is connecting your Facebook account there. Within the settings as well, I talk about it a lot, but it's your marketing profile that you'll want to set up. So that's under Connect Settings and then Marketing Profile. So there's a lot of information in here that you fill in: your name, your job title, so you put realtor here, your bio, contact information, office information. So this is important to fill out before you start doing marketing as well, because it's going to pull some of this information into your ads. If you're creating designs for your ads, it will pull that in. So that is something important to complete as well. Any questions about the settings on that? If you have run Facebook ads before and you're getting errors, so you've already gone through the whole setup process and you're still getting errors when you're running those ads, what you should do is come into your command settings where we just were in the accounts here. You're going to go to manage, and then you're just going to, under here, click disconnect account. So you want to disconnect your Facebook from Command and then reconnect it. And that should flush it so that any new settings that you've changed will come through and hopefully fix those errors. So if you have already connected this and you're still getting errors, that's something you can do, is just disconnect and reconnect, and that should fix any issues you're having. All right. So I'm going to go into the campaigns section now. So campaigns is where you will run your ads from. So there's many different types of campaigns. We're just going to focus on social campaigns for this training. And if you're not super familiar with Command, you can click this KW at the top and open up the campaign or the menu here so you can see what each one means. So I can see that this one here is campaigns. Now I'm going to go to paid ads. And before you do create your ad, something you'll want to make sure is you've added a payment method into your Command account. So it's under payments right here. I'm going to click on that and you'll add your credit card in here. Now, Facebook does not get your credit card information. It is all safe within KW and Command. So it's safer for you to run ads through here than directly on Facebook because they won't get that payment information. And the charge you'll see on your card will come from KW. So just something to keep in mind here is to set up that payment info. So I'm going to click on create campaign. We're just going to do a simple ad so you can see just the basic process of how to set one up. There's many different things you create ads for. I'm going to do a listing for this just because it's probably the simplest one to do. You don't have to be as creative with it, but I can show you some other ones as well after that are just ideas for ads you can run if you don't have a listing. So just starting with a listing here, I'm going to choose social ad. And then I need to name it. So I'm just going to see for a listing here. Okay. To give it a name, then you choose your goal. So it might be to advertise this listing, but maybe it's to attract buyers. Are you looking for someone to buy this listing? This may be the best one for you because this will also attract buyers, like it says. So you'll get more buyer leads. So if you're looking to attract more buyers and get more buyers, this is the one you want to choose. So it does tend to convert a little bit better than advertising a listing. So the targeting is a bit different. So I'm going to choose attract buyers. And then you choose where your campaign will run. So you can do Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. You can do all three. Totally up to you where you want to run it. I'm going to choose Facebook for this purpose. It is the one that converts the best. I think Facebook just gets so much more information from people in order to target the ads. So you'll find you'll get a lot more leads from Facebook versus Instagram or Twitter. So I'm just going to choose Facebook here and click Create Campaign. So now we're in the editor. My name and goal is up here. So that's what I filled out at the very beginning. Of course, you can edit it here if you need to. So we're going to start building it on the left-hand side, and you'll start to see it populate as we change things here on the right-hand side. So this will give you a little preview of what your ad is going to look like in people's Facebook feed. So because we're doing a listing, right here under listing, I'm going to choose add listing here. Then you need to change this to all listings because with ours, the listings are in the MLS feed. They're not assigned directly to you. So you do need to choose all listings in order to find it. And I'm just going to search that listing here. And here it is. So I'm going to select that. Wait for it to load for a minute. Because this is connected to MLS, it's actually started building the ad right away. So it pulled the first photo from MLS into my ad and the beginning of the overview as well. So it started building this for me. I didn't even need to fill anything out yet, but there are some things you may want to change. So when I click on configure next to text, this is where you can change all of the text for the ad. So the main copy is the caption up here. Now, a few things you maybe won't want to include in here are the number of bedrooms and number of bathrooms. These are things that will exclude people and they'll prevent them from clicking on your ad. Where this was a 4-bedroom, if someone knows they're looking for a 5-bedroom house and they're scrolling through Facebook and they find this ad and it says 4-bedroom, they're not clicking on it. They're going to keep scrolling because they already know that it doesn't work for them. But if you don't say how many bedrooms there are, other examples are the price, things like that, things that are going to be the non-negotiables for people. You don't really want to talk about those in your copy here. So you want to entice them to click on it. Of course, this house could very well be a 5-bedroom house just looking at it. So they're more likely to click on the ad to find out. So when they click on the ad, you'll get their information as a lead, and then you can help them find that 5-bedroom house, even though this one didn't work for them. But if you've already excluded them before they've even clicked on it, you have no opportunity to get that lead and to talk to them. So that is why you won't want to put anything that will exclude people into this section here. So just edit it, obviously, so it makes sense. Your headline is this text here. So you only have 25 characters, so you have to get a little bit creative, but some things some people will put in are just like waterfront property, close to amenities, income property, whatever you can fit into 25 characters that will describe this property, basically. Description is down here. So that's this little text down here. So most people aren't going to look at this. They're going to read your caption and then they're going to click on it. But this is a good opportunity to put a call to action. It sounds silly, but if you tell someone to do something, they're more likely to do it. So you could click learn more for all property details. Like I said, people won't pay too much attention down here. You want to put the main details about the property up here, but this will just tell them what they should be doing, and then they're more likely to click on learn more. Okay, so we'll save that. Next is the Facebook setting. Oh, no, we skipped media. So next is the media. So it pulled that first photo from MLS, but you can add additional photos if you want, or if you don't want this photo, you can delete it. So I'm going to click on add more. And all of the photos from the listing are in here. So you want to pick the best selling features of the house. Probably 1 to 3 images is enough. You don't want to give too much information away because you want to entice them to click on the ad so you get their info, right? So just put the prettiest parts of the house, or if there's a really nice backyard, like this photo here with the pool, that's a good one. So I'll add that one. Then we'll prompt you to crop it. So we'll save. And so once you add an additional photo, it's going to create this carousel over here. So that's what that will look like to people's newsfeed when it comes up there. Okay, so now down here, the DBA logo, this is required. And as long as you've completed your marketing profile and you've uploaded it, it's going to show up automatically. So you can see that the KW logo is showing on the photo. If you're not, or if you haven't completed your marketing profile, you'll need to upload this here. So the logos are in our Google Drive, which I can show you after if anyone needs that. You can choose if you want it on the left or right as well. Okay, then we'll save that. Next is the Facebook settings. So this is where it's important that you've connected your Facebook account in the settings section of Command. So the account populates here, and then you have to choose which page this ad is going to run on. So I'm going to choose test page just because that's the one we've been working in. So I'm going to select that page. You'll see the preview will change in a minute once this loads. There we go. Yeah, so now it's coming from my test page. This will populate with your business page name up here. Then the destination. So when they click on the ad, where is it going to take them? So if you want to generate leads, so if you want to get people's contact information, you need to use the Facebook lead generation form. So when they click on the ad, it actually pops up and asks for their name, email, and phone number. Facebook and their phone normally already know this information, and it will autofill it. So you're much less likely to get fake information where people are just putting whatever in to bypass the contact form. So that is one plus about using it this way. You can direct it to a site or landing page, which will bring them directly to whatever website you're advertising, and you're not going to gather any information from them that way. So that's good for brand awareness if you're just trying to bring attention to something and you don't want to gather leads. But if leads are your goal, you'll need to use this lead generation form. Next is the button label. So it says learn more here. The only options are sign up and apply now other than learn more. So that's the only one that really fits. And then your website URL. So once they click on the ad and they fill out their info, where is it going to bring them? So for the purpose of a listing, of course, you want to bring them somewhere that is actually going to give them the details about that listing. You don't want to send them to Best Buy's website because you'll get some angry comments. So you want to give them what you've promised them, which is the property details. So if you have a website set up through Command, you can go to your site and search for your listing. Once this loads, I will here. Use this here. Okay. So that's the property that I'm doing the ad for. It has all of the photos, all of the details, all this information here. And I'm just going to copy the link to this page. So Control C on a window or Command C, Windows or Command C on a Mac. Or you can right click and do copy and then paste it. So I'm going to paste this into my campaign as the website URL. So they're going to click on the ad, fill out their contact information, and then it's going to bring them directly to this page with all of the property details. Now, if you don't have your own website, you could link it to the KW website. So the brokerage has a website as well where all the properties are listed there. So you can find that listing on our website and link it there as well, so that if anyone does contact you through the site, we can direct that lead to you. Same with if they contact you through this page, you're going to get that lead. But if you link it to somewhere like realtor.ca or Viewpoint or somewhere like that, you're not going to get that lead because it's going to direct them. Well, realtor.ca, you'll get the lead, but Viewpoint, you wouldn't. And if they come in and look at this property and they figure out, oh, this doesn't work for me, I'm going to go look for other properties. If they go search for other properties on your website, you're still going to get that lead, even though it's not your listing, because they're viewing it on your site. That's where realtor.ca is different. If they go to look at a different property on realtor.ca and they like it and they click contact, it's going to go to that agent instead of you as a buyer lead. So that's why it's beneficial to link it directly to your own website or the brokerage website where you're going to gather those leads if someone does contact you about it. So I've linked that there. Next is the audience. So it will default to it usually defaults to the location of the listing with a 25-kilometer radius. Now, if the neighborhood, so new minus, of course, is probably not in the neighborhoods list in command. So it defaults to Austin, Texas. So you can change this by clicking custom settings here, and then you can change the location. So I want this to run in Canada, and then I could run it in Kentville is in there. So I could run it that way. You can run it out of province as well. So maybe you want to attract out of province buyers. You might run it in Ottawa. You can run it in any city, any country, totally up to you, but only one city per ad. So if you want to run it in Halifax and Ottawa, you're going to be creating 2 separate ads. Then your radius. So this is how far away from Ottawa do you want people to see your ad? So I have a 25-kilometer radius. The maximum is 80. So that is the biggest radius that you can put in there. If you ever see any errors and you're not sure why you're getting errors when posting your ad, check your radius. Sometimes if it's too small, it's not going to reach enough people and it won't allow you to post it. So if you've put like a 5-kilometer radius, for example, you might see that ad not go through. So just something to pay attention to is your radius here. I'll leave that at the default. Then into expert targeting. So with command and running your ads through command, all of the targeting is done for you. So you don't have to choose who you want to see your ad. Whereas if you were to go directly into Facebook and post an ad, you need to decide who you're targeting with it. Now, Facebook and Command, or KW, built this section of Command together. So they've created all of that targeting in the backend for you. So you don't have to worry about it. It's already optimized specifically for real estate and for gathering leads that way. Excuse me. But if you're listing a very specific type of property, you may want to do some expert targeting. So this is a circumstance where it's not your standard house. Lindsay, maybe you were listing a horse farm or something like that, or horse ranch or anything that just differs from your standard house. You may want to add interests. So you may add horses here. If it's an investment property, you may want to put entrepreneurs in as an expert interest. Just anything that's going to get your ad to the right people. Now, like I said, if it's just your standard house, that's what this is already set up for. So you don't need to add any targeting because it's just going to exclude people who may actually want to see your ad or may actually be interested in that property. So that's kind of the rule of thumb. You don't need to do expert targeting if it's just a normal listing. Then your lead settings. So when you set up this ad and you start gathering leads, you can do a few things to organize those leads and even automate the follow-up with them. So one is auto tag. So you could set up a tag in your settings in command that every time you get a lead from this ad, a particular tag is added to them. So that way, when you're looking through your leads, you can easily see where that one came from. So I might create a tag that says 45 Russet Facebook ad lead. And that will get applied to every single lead that I get from this particular Facebook ad. I don't know if it'll let me create it from here. So you actually can create it from here. Choose the color. Okay, so now every lead I get from this ad is going to have this tag on it. So in my contacts, I can easily find them. The other thing you can do also is automatically assign your leads to a smart plan. Now that's a separate training altogether, but I can send out the link for that as well. We did one session on creating an ad and automating the follow-up with your leads. So it goes through how to create a smart plan and connect it to your Facebook ad. Basically, you can set up a plan that will, as soon as they click on the ad and submit their info, they're going to get a text message from you or an email, or it gives you a task telling you to call them. And it'll automate some follow-up emails and texts as well. You can set that up exactly how you want, but that is something you can do, and you would need to do it before you start creating the campaign. But if you have created a smart plan for this purpose, you would link it here. So all of my smart plans are in here, and that's where you'll find them. So I'll do my Facebook lead follow-up. Okay. And the last section is duration and budget. So how much do you want to spend and how long do you want the ad to run? So here it's going to run from February 18th to February 28th. So it's a 10-day duration, and I've budgeted $30. So it's going to charge $3 per day. Now, it won't always be exactly $3. You'll never spend more than your total budget, but you may see certain days spending more than $3 and certain days spending less than $3. And this is normal. What it's going to do is it's going to look at the analytics of your ad. And if, let's say, tomorrow the ad starts doing really, really well, we've already spent $3, but people are really engaging with it, Facebook is going to put a little bit more towards that ad to keep pushing it because it's doing well. And then when it's not doing well, it won't push it as hard. So it will sort of fluctuate day by day. It won't be exactly $3 per day, but it's just going to automatically do that. So you're getting the most bang for your buck and you're spending more when people are actually engaging with it. So like I said, it'll never spend more than what you budget here, but you may see that fluctuate. Now you can do it for less than 10 days. You could do a 1-day ad for $1. That's the minimum. But the more duration you have and the more budget you put in, the more people it's going to reach. Now, in terms of in your lower budgets, so I would say under $100, it's not going to make a huge difference. What's going to make a difference in your ad is the quality of the ad. So are the photos nice? Is the caption enticing? Things like that. With the amount of reach that you're going to get in the smaller budgets, you don't need to worry about spending too much on the ad. Just focus on making your ad really good and really enticing for people to click on. Now, when you get into spending hundreds of dollars, that's where the reach gets really big. So in the smaller budgets, what you really want to focus on is the quality of the ad for sure. That is more important than what you're spending. Another thing to keep in mind is this is American dollars. So $30 is in American. So it might charge you 40, 45, depending on the exchange rate. So just something to keep in mind there.
What's a good place to start price-wise, budget-wise for ads?
I would say the recommended here is probably a good starting point. Now, if you're just testing out ads and seeing how things will work, you could go down to maybe like $2 a day for 5 days and spend a little bit less. And you may want to do some smaller, shorter duration ads and just with different strategies. So you may want to change up the graphic you're using or what you're writing or what you're actually advertising and see what's working and what's not. And then once you determine what ads are working for you, then you want to kind of duplicate those and spend more on them. So I would say this is a good starting point for sure, what they recommend here, but you can go less, like it says up here. Okay.
Thanks.
So that's the setup of the ad itself. So you can see we have all of that in here. Then you can either publish the ad right away or you can save it as a draft. So if you're just, maybe you're waiting till tomorrow to put this up or next week, or you're setting this up before your listing goes up and you haven't connected your listing, whatever the case may be, you can save that as a draft and it won't publish it anywhere. So I'm going to do that because I'm not going to advertise this listing. If you were to click publish right now, it will go into a page that it just says pending approval or awaiting approval. So you'll see that here under status. So basically it's going to submit it to Facebook. They're going to make sure that all of their terms and conditions have been met, that there's nothing inappropriate in the ad, and it meets all of those rules that they have in place. So it'll go through that review process, and then you'll see it either change to approved, hopefully, or it'll say disapproved if there is something wrong with it that you need to fix. Now, if you see error, please send me an email. That means there's something wrong in terms of the settings and we can go in and take a look at that. But if you see disapproved, when you hover over this, obviously there's nothing for them to tell me here, but when you hover over the disapproved tag here, it's going to pop up and tell you exactly why. So it'll say that you're not an admin on your Facebook page or something along those lines. That's the most common one. So those are the settings that I showed you at the beginning. But if you ever see error, just send me an email and we can take a look and see what's going on with that. Once you publish your ad, if this says approved, you'll start to see some numbers show up here. So your cost per impression. So that impressions are how many people have seen your ad. So they haven't clicked on it, but it showed up in their newsfeed and they saw it basically. Cost per click is who has clicked on your ad. So that's how you pay for ads through Facebook. Each click is a predetermined very small amount and it will build up as people click on it. So that's what the cost per click is. And then cost per lead. So this will tell you how many leads you've gotten. And based on how much you spent, it will calculate what your cost is per lead that you've gotten from this ad. Up here will be a more cumulative metrics. So this is your impressions and leads, but for the past 30 days for all of your ads. Now you can change that if you wanted to do year to date or lifetime. You can change that threshold, but this will be a more vague overview of all of your ads. Okay. If you run an ad, so say this published, it's going for 10 days. I did a listing, and on day 5, the listing is sold. So I don't want to keep advertising it. I don't want to keep paying for that. If this was an active ad, I could come to these 3 dots over here, and there'd be an option to pause or stop campaign. So you can stop it from running. It will charge you the full amount that you budgeted on day 1 of that ad. So it would have charged me my $30 with the exchange rate. But if I don't spend all of it, so maybe I only spent $15 so far, I'm going to get that $15 back, the extra $15 as a credit for my next ad. So you don't lose that money if you don't spend it. It's just not on your credit card anymore. It will be a credit directly within Command. So just something to keep in mind there. And the credit won't apply until the end of your ad. So if I stop this on day 5, until day 10 rolls around, even though the ad's not running, when day 10 comes, that's when I'll get my credit for my next ad. So don't expect to see it right away. It will take a little bit of time to show up there. So that is a good reason when you are testing out ads to do very short durations, because you don't want to do a 3-month ad to test something out. And then on day 10, you're like, this isn't even working. I want to get rid of it. Then you have to wait 2.5 more months to get your credit back. So that's why, like I said, it's good to start with short and small ads and then build from there once you figure out what is working. Any questions about any of that? I know it's a lot.
Yeah, I have a question. So in that scenario, let's say you do an ad for 10 days and your house sells on day 5. Can you not go in and just edit the ad and just say, listed and sold in 5 days kind of thing?
No, so it won't let you change it once you post it because it goes through that review process and Facebook has looked it over. They approved it based on what it was when you
But it was there. Okay, that makes sense.
You would stop that ad, but you could basically go in here. Once it's stopped, you can duplicate it. It will bring this ad back up. And so then you could run the exact same ad and then just change your copy up here.
Gotcha.
You'd republish it for however long you want it to go. And then it would look the same to people who had already seen your ad before, but it won't let you edit the one that you've already put in.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Do you guys want to see an ad that isn't a listing? So I'm going to we'll do create campaign again, social ad. We'll do. This is the example I always use. So maybe you're running an ad to attract buyers in a specific area, in a specific price range, and you want to show them what listings are available. This is an easy ad you can run if you don't have any of your own listings. So I'm going to call it buyers in Dartmouth under 400K, because that's who I want to put this ad out to. Now, of course, I'm still going to do attract buyers because that's what that targeting is set up for, and choose Facebook again. And we'll create campaign. We're going to skip over listing. We're not going to add a listing to this, but the main thing, I mean, you're going to have to get creative with the copy. It's not as easy with the listing where that just pulls it in from the work you've already done on MLS. But you could write something like, like that. You want to entice those people to click on it. So obviously be a little more creative than I am, but just fill this in. You get the gist of it. Okay. So then media, you'll want to find a photo that is eye-catching. You can search online for royalty-free stock images. And you may find some of Dartmouth. I have successfully found some before, so it's not impossible. Or you can take your own photo if you have a nice photo of whatever area you're advertising, just something that's going to catch their eye. And if you don't have a photo like that, you may go into designs and create a graphic, maybe the stats about Dartmouth, something that is informational and things like that. So you can create your own graphic, or you can find photos to add in there. So I'm just going to put something random from my design library. We'll do this one. I'm gonna upload a photo. Pretend this is what I'm advertising. So I've added a photo here. So that's done. Of course, Facebook settings, same thing. You'll choose your Facebook page, lead generation form. And then for website URL, this is where it's a little bit different. So I'm going to go back to my website. So this is my command website. So I'm not sure if you have a website through a different provider. I'm not sure how it works that way, but this is how I know it works with the command site. So I'm just going to search Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. It's going to bring me to the map here. We'll zoom in a little bit. So it's only Dartmouth, like this. Then I'm going to go to price. And because I said there's homes under 400K, I'm going to do my maximum at 400K. Not many, but there are some. So now that I have these filters put in, I'm just going, actually, something else you may want to do is do that. So, oh, we've gotten rid of the land, so that brought it down quite a bit. Okay, so those are all of the homes under 300K or 400K. So now I'm going to copy this really, really long link up here, same way I did on the other ad. And I'm going to paste that as my website URL. So what that will do, this is a live link. So when they come to it, they're going to come to your website with this search filled in for Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. These filters are put on. But if they click this tomorrow, this property might be gone and there might be 3 new ones up here. And it's always going to show them what's current in the market. So this is, of course, connected to MLS. So any new listings will show up on here. So if I open a new tab and I'm going to paste that link in, it will bring me right into the site. It should have those filters. That still works. Yep. There, brought me right into that page with all of those filters that I put in. So that way they click on the ad that you advertise that there's houses under 400K. They click that link and it's going to bring them right to your website where they can browse all of those listings. Now this is great because if they say, ooh, I really like this one, I'm going to go to this one and I'm going to submit a contact form. You're going to get that lead, even though it's not your listing. So this is how you're going to generate those buyer leads. And it gives them all the information they need. There's even the payment calculator down here. So, and then the contact form at the bottom. So this is a great way to do ads or practice running ads if you don't have listings to advertise. I know it's hard, even when you do have listings, nothing stays on the market long enough to actually run an ad for it. So these are great ways to advertise and get your name out there at least. Now you can do brand awareness ads that are just like basically your business card, but you do want to provide some value as well. So maybe you have a page on your website with some information about the buying process or the selling process, and you're advertising that, or you have a buyer's guide or a seller's guide, and you want to send that out as well. These are all things you can create either in designs or something like Canva, and then be able to distribute through advertising as well. So there's tons of ideas. Highly recommend if you go to YouTube. We aren't the only ones who post YouTube videos. If you just search KW Command campaign ideas, you'll see a whole bunch of videos from other agents and other brokerages that have done trainings that may have some different perspectives that we haven't covered. So it is great to go through and look at those as well. The rest of it's the same, of course, your audience. So advertising in Dartmouth, again, you may want to do Ontario or somewhere else. but you can choose your location there. I'll just do Halifax. Okay. Lead settings. So this is where smart plans come into play again, of course. So you may create a smart plan that has a link to a buyer's guide that you have in Google Drive or something like that. There's lots of ideas of different ways to send out valuable information to people who are clicking on your ad, and then they're more likely to contact you as well. So you do want to provide some value to them, and you'll get a lot more leads and good leads that way, at least. I'm going to skip that part, and of course, budget and save. That's just one example of a non-listing ad. But like I said, if you search on YouTube, there's a ton of different videos with different ideas that you can run as well. Okay. Any questions about that?
Me again. You can go into smart plans in Command and search up that Facebook lead follow-up smart plan, and it's already done for you,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's a lot of them. So if you just go Facebook lead, there's a whole bunch of different ones. This one, me and Erin always use as our example. It's pretty comprehensive and not too spammy, and it's pretty much written out the way that you would want it. But you can change them as well. So maybe you like this, but you don't want to use Twilio to send text messages. You can delete the text message and replace it with an email. You could replace it with a task telling yourself to text them. So you can really customize this as you need to, but yeah, they're pretty much all built, and you just need to go in and customize them. So this one here, for example, this guy has put his email signature in there, so you'd want to go in and change that. You may want to reference that property. So when you send them that very first text message, this one says this is Matt, so you changed it to your name, of course. You might say, I saw you clicked on 45 Russet Street. Are you looking to buy in the next few months? Like, you might want to be specific so they know exactly what it's for. But if you've set this up to be automated, so you've created this smart plan and attached it to your ad, they're going to get that text message within minutes of them clicking on the ad. So they have no time to really forget that they've clicked on it. So that's the best use case for smart plans like this is the follow-up. It really it will make your life a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, especially if you have a really good performing ad. Of course, you get really excited because you're getting a bunch of leads, and then you're like, oh, I have to contact 30 people. So this will do that for you. And it will save you a ton of time, because of those 30 people, maybe only 5 are actually interested in buying real estate. Maybe the rest were just nosy about how much it was listed for. Maybe they clicked on it by accident. They didn't even know they clicked on it. Whatever the case is, you don't want to spend all your time contacting those people. You want to spend your time talking to the people who are actually interested in working with you. So this will weed the not interested people out. And if someone replies to your text, you'll get a notification, and you can continue that conversation and remove them from the smart plan so that you're doing it all manually at that point. So that is something that is really, really good to set up before you create your ad. And on our YouTube channel, let's see. That's not it. We have, let me see, this one here, Facebook ads and lead follow-up. So that goes through the whole process of setting up the smart plan, and then creating the ad and automating the follow-up. So that's a good one to look at as well. It will cover that entire process.
And that's on our YouTube page, or?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. So the link is in the Google Drive, but if you just go to YouTube and search Keller Williams, select Realty, we're the first one that comes up here.